It's eviction day. It's eviction day, and I'm the popo. Today we're taking these baby plants out of tissue culture and helping them adjust to life outside the laboratory. This process of hardening off plants is called acclimation, and it is the final stage in the tissue culture process. Before we get into it, if you've never seen me before, my name is Laure, and I make YouTube videos about tissue culture, which is a method of rapidly cloning plants. It works on pretty much any type of plant that you can think of, and it is not that hard to learn how to do at home. All of the plants that we're going to acclimate in this video were grown using the Plants in Jars starter kit. The starter kit comes with all the chemicals that you need to prepare tissue culture media at home, which is the gel that the plants clone themselves and multiply in. The kit is available on my website, plantsinjars.shop, and I will also link a very in-depth tutorial for how to use the kit that anyone can follow along with, even an absolute beginner. The starter kit also includes free access to the Plants in Jars protocol library, which contains different sets of instructions for tissue culturing different types of plants. Every plant is a little bit different. And I also sell some really cool merch, including the shirt that I'm currently wearing right now, which is on sale for $25, $10 off until Halloween. So whether you purchase tissue culture plants online or you grew them yourself, this process is going to look exactly the same. It's important to understand that these plants have been living in near perfect conditions in a laboratory up until now. If we just took them out of their containers and stuck them in a pot of soil on a windowsill, they would just die. They're very sensitive. The goal of acclimation is to get the plants gradually used to ambient conditions. These are my favorite trays for acclimating TC plants. You can get them on Amazon for pretty cheap. They're usually listed as seed starter trays. These particular ones have a vent on top of the tray that you can open and close to adjust the humidity a little bit. I'll have them linked below. Actually, I'll have all the stuff from this video linked below in case you're looking for it. If you have watched me for a while, then you know that my go-to substrate for acclimating TC plants is usually a 50% mix of Fluval stratum and perlite. Fluval stratum is technically an aquarium substrate, but it also happens to be really great for acclimating tissue culture plants. After I add the substrate to the tray, I use a laboratory wash bottle to add some distilled water to just moisten the media. You don't want it to be sopping wet, but we do want it to be moist for those plants. I also decided to be a little bit wild and crazy and test a new substrate for acclimating plants that I had never tried before, but I have seen other people try and really like. These are coco coir glue-based plugs. I've seen these referred to as plugs of death or death plugs by other plant influencers, so we'll see how it goes. Before we can put the baby plants into the trays of substrate that we have prepared, we need to clean the plants first. The plants have been growing in TC media for the last however many months, and one of the main ingredients in tissue culture media happens to be sugar. If the media is left on the plants and not washed off all the way, you can accidentally end up growing a lot of mold. If that happens, congratulations, you've invented penicillin, but that's not what this channel is about. I made this little bathtub full of room temperature water to give the plants a group shower. The water should be around room temperature or slightly cool. We don't want to shock the plants. They're new here. Alternatively, you can just hold the plants under a running sink to wash off the media. I had a lot of plants to get through, so I just find the communal bathtub method a little bit faster. You may have to gently pull clumps of plants apart to separate them into individual plants. This is optional, but I also prefer to remove the roots from each of the plants before transplanting them. A lot of times the roots that come out of tissue culture don't survive the transition anyways. If you feel a certain type of way about keeping the roots, that's fine too. Also, I would recommend wearing gloves when handling tissue culture media. I know what you're thinking. She's not wearing gloves in the video. Yes, this is true. Some laboratories, not me, but some laboratories use antibiotics and biocides in their tissue culture media in order to try to reduce contamination. And those are things that I personally don't want to touch with my bare hands. Since I didn't have any of those things in my media, I didn't wear gloves. Once the plants are clean, they're ready to be transferred into the trays. For the Fluval stratum, I find it easiest to use a pair of forceps to make a small hole for the plant. I dip the base of the baby plants into a powdered rooting hormone before transplanting them. There are a lot of different powdered rooting hormones on the market. I like this one because it is the cheapest. The active ingredient is IBA, which might sound familiar because it is one of the plant hormones that we use in plant tissue culture, and it's actually one of the hormones included in the Plants in Jars starter kit. IBA is an auxin that helps encourage root formation. You want to avoid planting the plants too deep. I place them so that the crown of the plant, which is the place where the roots meet the stem, is sitting right at the surface. It's the exact same plant placement that you would do for a mature plant as well. If the plant has roots, make sure that when you transplant the plant, that the roots are fully covered by the Fluval stratum and the perlite. The process looks very similar for the hydro plugs. If the hole isn't large enough for the plant, you can tear open the plug a little bit to make a pocket to slide the plant into. You want to make sure the crown of the plant stays above the surface. Again, the same rule applies here as well. For the first 2 weeks, we want to keep the humidity as high as possible to replicate the conditions that the plants were used to in tissue culture. So we're going to leave the plastic lids on the tray and have the lids fully sealed. If you were to take the lid off too soon, the plants will wilt because they can't regulate their water loss yet. For lighting, I recommend using any sort of daylight spectrum LED lights, which are the same thing that I used for all the tissue culture plants in the lab. I have the lights on a timer, so they are on for 16 hours a day and then they go off for 8 hours at night. Sunlight is obviously free, but I would avoid putting the new plants in direct sun or on a windowsill because of the greenhouse effect. LEDs give you consistent light without the heat, which is what we're looking for here. So around 2 weeks into this process, that is when I slowly start to reduce the humidity. And at this point, I usually don't find that I need to add any more water, but if your substrate happens to be drying out and is no longer moist, then you would want to add a little bit extra distilled water. Just remember, we want the substrate to be moist, but not wet. I had purchased a Monstera electrolyte that I planned to multiply in tissue culture. I love buying tissue culture plants to keep putting into tissue culture and multiplying, but sadly it got contaminated when I transferred it. Bit of a fail, I guess, but the reel got 1.8 million views, so I'm not that sad about it. But it was an insanely expensive plant, so I decided that the best course of action would just be to wash it off and acclimate it. So I added it to the Fluval stratum container. One of the Monstera constellations got Thanos snapped at some point. It just completely disintegrated. So I replaced that one plant with the Monstera electrolyte in its place. Around weeks 3 to 4, I would recommend adding some fertilizer. I used the only thing that I had in the laboratory at the time, which was the Max C fertilizer. You can use whatever balanced fertilizer that you want. Dilute the fertilizer to quarter strength or half strength of the recommended dose that is printed on the bottle. I did half strength and then apply it to the plants. If you're working with a specific type of plant, you can also use a fertilizer specific to that type of plant. And at this point, it's fine to just use tap water to dilute the fertilizer and start watering the plants with. The plants are a lot more stable at this point than they were day 1. Before we move on to month 2, I just wanted to do a quick aside about carnivorous plants because that process just looks a little bit different from the tropical plants that I usually work with. For carnivorous plants, you're going to only ever water them with distilled water. Do not switch to tap water. And for the substrate for carnivorous plants, most people prefer to either use sphagnum moss or sphagnum moss mixed with perlite. Otherwise, the steps are basically the same. Okay, between weeks 4 to 8, you basically do nothing. You can add more water if the substrate is starting to dry out. Again, moist but not wet. And then by week 8, the plants are ready to get transplanted to soil and live in their final homes. I was a little bit shocked by the difference in growth between the plants in the Fluval stratum mix and the plants in the Coco Coir plugs. The plants definitely seem to have a preference for the death plugs. It wasn't exactly a one-to-one experiment, but I did have a good mix of philodendrons, monsteras, and begonias in both of the 2 trays. The only drawback to the plugs is that when you are ready to transplant them into soil, it's really hard to remove the plant from the plug without damaging the root system. Most nurseries don't bother removing the plant from the plug. They just pop the whole plug into the new pot and fill in the rest with soil. Some people think that this leads to plants rotting easier, hence the name death plug. I'm pretty sure that's where that comes from. You can continue to use liquid fertilizer, but I prefer to switch to Osmocote once the plants have been transplanted to soil. Osmocote is a slow-released, balanced fertilizer, so you don't need to continuously apply it like you would with liquid fertilizer. You just put it in the soil and leave it for a while. Once you've reached this stage, you'll want to start thinking about what each species needs long term. Philodendrons, monsteras, and begonias all come from more tropical regions. If you're watching this video, I would guess that you already have some experience taking care of plants and what that entails. I keep my plants outside. Pretty much my entire collection lives outside, but also I live in Florida, which is easy mode for growing plants. If you have to live in Minnesota, sorry, that was so rude. If you happen to live in Minnesota, this is more difficult to do, obviously, to replicate a tropical environment. Plants are just science. Ideally, you want to artificially replicate how a plant would grow in nature to the best of your ability when it comes to things like soil and humidity. That's why you see so many plant influencers converting IKEA cabinets into indoor greenhouses. They're just reverse engineering the rainforest. That is it for this video. Like I mentioned, everything that we used will be linked below. I think that buying tissue culture plants and acclimating them is a great way to get your feet wet in the hobby of doing tissue culture if you are not ready to build out an entire laboratory in your living room. However, if you do want to turn your living room into a laboratory, I have plenty of tutorials that might interest you. So check out my other videos as well. I'm planning to do a few more Q&As before the end of the year, so if you have any questions about acclimation or tissue culture in general, leave them below and they might get featured in a video. Remember to like and subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!